A couple days ago, Mike Caulfield put out this newsletter, SIFT Toolbox for Claude released. And in his subtitle, he says, I don't know how to explain how much this changes everything, so I'm just going to ask you to try it. And in the newsletter, he communicates that his preference is for Claude. He's seen some powerful features come out of Claude. I am going to, for the purposes of this experimentation, use ChatGPT since that is the pro version that we pay for and I'm more familiar with how it works. He does mention the limitation of, rather than this being his instructions, his forthcoming instructions, being able to be saved in Claude 3.7 as a chat or a project, that the downside to the way I'm going to try things is that this needs to be copied and pasted into the chat inside of ChatGPT. So I haven't tried this yet. I just did a little bit of preparation, which was to say, copy these instructions to go over to ChatGPT. And what I prompted it with was use the following instructions to ask me what I would like you to sift, in parentheses, fact check. And then these are the copied, pasted instructions I just showed you from Mike Caulfield. And then it says here, I'm ready to help you to get started. What would you like me to sift? And what I am going to attempt, again, this is not planned. I haven't tried this. You're going to see it. I was going to say live, but it's not really live, but you're going to see it here as you're watching. I am doing this for the first time. And I'm thinking back to the class that I've been teaching and some of the misunderstandings that students have or inability to convey the claim being made around satire. This, I could have a whole conversation with you about that. I had a great conversation with a student who didn't share his perspective on what was being revealed in a Saturday Night Live clip. I'll probably save that story for another time, but to get to the root of it, he shared with me that he actually knew the claim being made, but didn't feel safe to share it explicitly because he knew that the work was being shared with his peers in the class. So that's got me thinking about all sorts of things. But nonetheless, I believe in his case, he actually understood the satire and the information, but there were lots of other students who they had difficulty knowing once they realized something was satire, even if they just didn't know checking the source. They had some trouble here. So I'm going to take a piece of satire from one of my favorite, oh my gosh, I can't talk. One of my favorite satirical sources. Whew, that is a tongue twister. McSweeney's, this piece called Introducing Total Crap, the first magazine written entirely by AI. So I'm going to go back over to ChatGPT and it's saying, what would you like me to sift? 1, a quote, a meme, or a viral claim. 2, a historical event. 3, an image or artifact. 4, a news story or statistic. Now, since satire isn't really being offered here, I have to think about maybe the best place to put it. I'm going to say 4. That's what I'm just going to say for the case of that. Please share the news story you'd like me to fact check. You can include a link to the post. This is, by the way, what I was curious about. Can I include a link? The specific claim or excerpt you want to focus on, any context you already have that made you curious, and then I'll get started on a full report. This is cool. So I think maybe I'm going to say that a person might not know that this is satire. I mean, up at the very top in very small font for my 50-something-year-old eyes, it does say daily humor almost every day since 1998, but you could see a person missing that. So I'm just going to take the heading. I'm going to go back over to ChatGPT. I'm going to paste that in and let's see what happens. I'm trying not to interrupt my fact checking in the middle of my fact checking to go do research, but all I could think of when I put it on pause to wait for it to produce its output was from some movie, and I can't think of the name of the movie, but when they go to indicate the passing of time, they go "Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo." So that I'm gonna guess that this was 4 seconds, 4.5. I was trying to count in my head, but at the same time my brain was trying to count in my head, I was also thinking of that movie thing. And I know some of you are yelling at your screen right now to tell me the answer, so we'll see. Okay. Maybe I'll look it up when I produce the video. Maybe I won't. I'm trying to get ready to head off to a conference this afternoon, so we'll see. All right, so what happened here? I put in the article link, and it says the article by Jonathan Zeller is a satirical piece that humorously critiques the rise of AI generated content in publishing. It introduces a fictional magazine, Total Crap, purportedly produced entirely by AI, named The Crap Machine Chat ECM. The article exaggerates the capabilities and implications of AI in writing to highlight concerns about originality and the potential displacement of human writers. Given McSweeney's reputation for satire and humor, this piece is intended as a comedic commentary rather than a factual report. Therefore, there are no factual inaccuracies to correct, as the article does not present real events or entities. Verdict: the article is a satirical work aimed at humorously addressing the topic of AI in publishing. It does not contain factual information requiring verification. When entering articles from satirical sources, it's essential to recognize the comedic intent and not interpret the content as factual reporting. Based on my use of AI, one of the things I would have predicted that might have happened, which did not, would be that it would have offered to, or even just unprompted, given me some additional places to explore. Yes, it's satire, but there's a reason behind why the satirical piece has been written. And that didn't happen here. I'm assuming because of the way that the instructions are written, that it doesn't want to give a full, piece. This is supposed to be SIFT. The way that Mike Caulfield has designed this framework is supposed to be something you can quickly do. You're assessing for the accuracy of the piece. You're not, trying to do a full dive into it. But now I'm curious. So I typed this, I put it on pause so you didn't have to sit through watching me type. Given the issues that the article attempts to critique through satire, what should I become more aware of about AI generated magazines and news sources? So I'm curious to see what happens when I do that. That was very easy, and it identified the issues that were coming to top of mind for me for why I decided to bookmark that piece in Raindrop, my bookmarking tool in the first place. And I mean, I do like McSweeney's pieces, and that was one reason, but the other reason was around some of these issues that ChatGPT reveals here: credibility and authorship, displacement of human voices, loss of originality and insight, the illusion of objectivity, ethics of disclosure, and manipulation and misinformation. And the verdict here, the McSweeney's satire draws attention to ethical, epistemological, and cultural risks of replacing meaningful editorial judgment with unchecked automation. While AI can assist in journalism, transparency, verification, and human creativity remain essential. Whenever you read an article, especially one that seems too polished or suspiciously generic, search the headline or key claims in a fact-checking tool or database. As I mentioned at the start of this video, I am getting ready to head off to a conference, so I think I'm going to call it there. It is incredibly hard for me to call it there. I just need to say that because if Mike Caulfield, who's not, I don't think of him as, on the strengths finder, that positivity is going to show up at the top of his list. I say that, by the way, not as a criticism of him, just because I work with some people for whom it is. And so I kind of can tell the difference. If he's this excited for as hard and as long as he has worked, and as skeptical as I suspect he would be, this is something I want to keep playing with. And I especially want to keep playing with it right now because of having, rounding down my class in business ethics, in which they are expected to use SIFT for more than half of the semester to fact check the business ethics news that we read about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's just been fascinating to see them do that. They do it through screencasts, by the way, like the one that you're seeing here. I would be so curious to see students play with this who have an understanding of SIFT. Excited to hear how you might be experimenting with this new tool. I'd love to hear from you, and so excited to keep following Mike Caulfield's work.